Welcome to Madrid. Madrid is not only Spain's capital, but it also happens to be one of my personal favorite capitals in the world. So today I'm going to do a video for you guys to show you how you can see the city in just one day through an ultimate walking tour. Madrid, created in around the 9th century, has been Spain's capital for over 350 years, and not to mention one of the highest capitals in Europe. Madrid is known for its world-famous food, unparalleled football and flamenco, fascinating history, and obviously a city that lights up with culture, elegance, arts, grandeur, and a vibe you just can't beat anywhere else in the world. This is the one-day walking tour. We're gonna start our tour in a very unexpected location because this right here is not what one would expect of a big, bustling, noisy city like Madrid. Parque del Retiro is so huge that it's actually 125 hectares, has 15,000 trees, and was recently named a World Heritage Site. One thing I'm noticing about Parque del Retiro, which is slightly weird, is there's giant pandas and giant gorillas dancing to music. A little bit out of place. There's actually quite a lot to do in Parque del Retiro. You might think, why would a walking tour involve a park? But this is a perfect place to sit down quietly, be with your own thoughts, get away from the hustle and bustle of the city. Also, there's a lot of cafes and restaurants. You can rent a canoe, you can come here on a bike, you can listen to music. There are different areas. Some are quieter, some are a bit louder and more touristy. So it's really up to you how you experience this gigantic park. It kind of reminds me of Hyde Park or Central Park in Manhattan a little bit, in the sense that it's kind of like its own world within a city. After you exit one of the majestic park gates, head west for a short walk to discover one of Madrid's most iconic monuments, but not without a few surprises on the way. See, what I absolutely love about European cities is just out of nowhere you'll see these grand monuments, these absolutely amazing works of art, and at that point you kind of have to find out where they came from, why it's there, but you'll see hundreds of them in a single walk through a city. Just open Google, and this particular one is a monastery from the 1500s. I mean, where else do you get to see something like that? With Madrid's rich history, from Arab influences. Look at that. Beautiful. From Arab influences to modern monarchy, there's just so much to see in between, and so many sources of inspiration when it comes to design, architecture, and just the way the city is built. Personally, I'm always drawn to big pedestrian areas like this one. In any city, since I don't really drive, since I don't really do biking, I really prefer to walk everywhere. It just gives you such a better idea of the vibe of any city, Madrid definitely being no exception. But areas like this, I really, really, really like. You kind of feel like you have this freedom and space that you don't really get on a busy, non-pedestrian road. Wow. See, that's the back of the monastery, look. I mean, absolutely incredible. I have to say though, what I'm a little bit disappointed by is that I'm seeing a lot of really important historical monuments in Madrid that are currently being refurbished at the same time all around the city, so you don't actually get to see them very well. I mean, look, this being a perfect example, this is the main building of Museo del Prado. It was the same in one of the main gates that I saw earlier today. So obviously these super important buildings need to be restored, but it's just a question of, is this your first time in Madrid, and how much are you hoping to see the building that lays under all that scaffolding? I've been here about 4 or 5 times before, so I kind of know what it looks like, but I was still hoping to show you guys. So yeah, that's the entrance to Museo del Prado. This is an activity that you can spend 3-4 hours doing easily, so I'm not even gonna go in. I don't know how many of you are really interested in art. You can see Picasso, you can see Greco, you can see so many other really important Spanish artists being exhibited in there, but also a lot of European ones, anywhere from the 12th to the 20th century. This museum is so big that it actually had to be expanded, I think 2 or 3 times over the last 60-70 years. That's why it currently has multiple buildings around the center of Madrid. Goya, another really important one that I forgot to mention, which is a little embarrassing because I actually went to his exhibition in Budapest not too long ago, and I really, really enjoyed it. My personal favorite Spanish painter would have to be Salvador Dali. and his works are visible in this museum, but also in the Modern Art Museum, which is also in central Madrid. That is my personal favorite museum. I'm more gravitated towards modern art rather than classical art, but honestly in this museum you'll find everything. It's absolutely ginormous. Everything around the Museo del Prado is about art. I've crossed the road and there are still artists exhibiting their paintings. This is obviously a very touristy area of Madrid. A lot of people from all around the world come to admire the art in this museum, and you can see it being spread out just a little bit further than the square of the museum itself. Madrid has 21 areas, or in other words, barrios. Next, you're going to walk into Barrio de las Letras, which was home to great 17th century writers. Two things that I really love about old cities is the way that the street signs are made. So they're often either in a really cool font, or the plaque that they stick onto the wall is shaped differently. This one has a portrait on it, obviously commemorating a really important figure in history, and the pharmacies. Pharmacies are often historical from 17th, 18th, 19th century, so they're not just buildings that were erected in the past few decades, they really do have a meaning. And also, I've been reading this, Rosalia de Castro, who was a novelist and a poet, and who really contributed to literature. And next to that, you've got this. How cute is that? It says poetry, letters, and urban. Pretty cool. After about a 10-minute walk, we will finally make it to Plaza Mayor. Built by King Philip III over 400 years ago, Plaza Mayor was originally used as a market space and an event space for local celebrations. It was unfortunately destroyed by fires many times and had to be rebuilt and restored over the years. There are 9 gates to enter the square, and you'll really feel the grandeur and history as you stand in the middle and look around. Don't know if I mentioned, but Madrid is also a central hub for flamenco. It's considered the capital of flamenco. I'm personally not a huge flamenco fan, but if you are a fan of that, you should definitely go see a traditional flamenco show here. About a 7-minute walk from Plaza Mayor, you will approach my personal favorite spot in Madrid, which is the Royal Palace and the Cathedral. Now, the Royal Palace I've been to before, and inside it is jaw-droppingly gorgeous to the point where everywhere you look, it's ridiculous. It's insane. The only thing is they don't allow you to video inside. So me going in again would be a little bit pointless because I wouldn't be able to show you guys what lies on the inside of this beautiful, majestic, amazing building. Now, if you are here, I highly recommend you go in because your jaw will hit the floor on multiple occasions, brain splattered all over the wall. Like, that is the level of beauty we're talking about. I'm gonna get closer now so you can see. Now, if you think that's beautiful, inside it's about 50 times more amazing, like 50 times more grand, just more opulent, you know, gold everywhere, chandeliers, these beautiful rooms, everything is above and beyond. So this for me would be my #1 visit in Madrid. Now, this right here, this is the cathedral, and the cathedral I haven't been to before. This cathedral is incredibly special because it was actually consecrated by the Pope not too long ago. Check out the doors to the cathedral. Super cool, so much detail. Now, what did I think of the cathedral? It was my first time there. I kind of expected to be wowed and floored like I was in Sagrada Familia in Barcelona, or even in some of my favorite cathedrals in Italy, and I have to say I wasn't, although I was very impressed that this is the first cathedral outside of Rome that was consecrated by the Pope. So obviously that stands for a lot. But did I feel that when I went in? I'm gonna say no. That doesn't mean that you guys shouldn't see it. You absolutely should see it, but that was just my experience there. Are they following me? Yes or no? Let's do a poll. Comment below. Despite the rather large quantity of gorillas in Madrid, I'm still determined to wow you with many more revelations in this extraordinary city. And if you like what you've seen so far, why not hit the subscribe button? As you walk away from the palace and the cathedral, you will have this beautiful pedestrian area, which is like a walk alongside the royal gardens that span for what seems like forever. Like, it's really beautiful. You can walk inside the royal gardens as well, so I'll show you what that looks like. A short walk along the royal gardens will bring you to Plaza de Espana, a large, recently renovated square where you can see locals and tourists enjoying the family-friendly vibe and admire the surrounding historical buildings. I just can't get enough of the architecture here. It's absolutely breathtaking wherever you look. Now, as I'm walking to the next place that I'm gonna take you to, which is a very unexpected place, a bit of a hidden gem here in Madrid, I'm gonna touch on a few topics that I feel are very important when you come here. First things first, if you don't want to get around by foot as much as I'm doing today, how are taxis priced? And I think they're actually priced quite reasonably, plus all the taxi drivers here have been extremely nice. They'll help you with whatever you need, they'll give you advice, where to go, what to see. So all the locals here in general have been very, very helpful, and that's something that I really admire about Madrid. They're not stuck up in any way, shape, or form. Even if I speak Spanish with an accent, which I do, they'll always compliment me and they'll always make me feel welcome and at home. Now, the other thing is safety. A lot of people have asked me, do you feel safe in Madrid? It's obviously a big city, it's a capital. How do you feel walking around alone as a female? And the answer is, I actually feel really safe. I haven't felt threatened yet. I haven't felt anybody, you know, looking at me the wrong way, targeting me in any way. That being said, I am always careful, as I feel anyone should be when they're traveling to a big city with, you know, all sorts of people. So I often have my bag like this, and obviously I don't wear, you know, designer handbags, shiny jewelry, that sort of stuff that'll attract the wrong kind of attention. So it's common sense paired with Madrid being relatively safe compared to a lot of other European destinations. Made it. And where, you ask, have I made it to? Well, that you're about to see in just a second. Well, it's not every day that in the center of Madrid you get to see Egyptian ruins, but that's exactly what we're looking at right now. In 1972, through a historical project, the government of Madrid and the government of Egypt actually got together and dismantled ruins that were built for the god of Isis along the Nile, and then they rebuilt them here on top of a little hill in central Madrid. Let's take a look around. Let's walk around a little bit. I find it absolutely stunning, and a lot of people don't even know that this place exists because it isn't the sort of iconic image of Madrid that you'd get in all the media that we're presented with today. What's nice is that on top of this little hill, it's not just the Egyptian temple. You've also got a little park and a beautiful viewpoint as well. So let's go there. So as you can see, there's the palace and the cathedral, which is where we were earlier. And now as we go back down the hill and as we continue straight on, we'll be greeted with an area called Malasana, which is a new one for me. Never been there before, but I've heard a lot of good things about it because it is a local area popular with expats, popular with young people. It's quite trendy, quite hip, a lot of cool boutiques, shops, cafes, restaurants. It's kind of relaxed, and I really wanted to check it out and get a feel for it because apparently it's very different to everything else that we've seen on this walking tour so far. I've realized that Malasana is not only one of the most inclusive communities in Madrid, but also is home to one of the biggest hidden gems in the city, a church entirely covered in frescoes. I can confirm that Malasana definitely feels like a hip and trendy area. There's a lot of expats here, a lot of foreigners, all who speak perfect Spanish, by the way, so that's pretty cool. There's a lot of independent boutiques, vintage shops, vegan cafes. So all in all, I would say that this area kind of feels like the Greenwich of Madrid, if I can even put it that way. It is definitely the complete opposite to the area where I'm staying in, which is Salamanca, which is considered like the luxurious area of Madrid with a bunch of designer shops and high-end restaurants and boutiques as opposed to independently owned ones. So I think exploring both of them is kind of cool if you're here just to get an idea of how diverse and how varied the city can be. I'm gonna take you on a walk through the Salamanca area now and you can see for yourself. Right, well, I'm back at my hotel now, which by the way is really worth checking out if you want to stay somewhere upscale and really luxurious. I got an upgrade, I got free breakfast, and I got resort credit to use as soon as I checked in. And for the details of how you can get the same, just head to the description below to check it out. I genuinely recommend this hotel. Now, as for the walking tour, I walked about 11 kilometers, I want to say, doing everything in about 6.5 hours. And obviously you'll need an hour and a bit to stop for lunch. The reason that I didn't include food in today's vlog is because anything that you will try in Madrid will be amazing. So I highly recommend you get some jamón croquetas, some jamón ibérico, churros for dessert. Just go all out and order the most amazing traditional food because it'll all be really good quality and great value for money too. So this is where I'll have to end today's walking tour. I hope that you found it useful, and I hope that you have an excellent time in Madrid when you do come here. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Keep smiling, and I'll see you next time.